I never heard about your story. As you know, many of us try to, this is Markel, find a pattern or something that was triggered within time and space to allow to let go of the illusory self and allow for the vast open consciousness to be what is. Is there anything within your story that might be considered to be the cause that allowed for the falling away of the illusion of you? I think the most important thing that arose in my story is that I really wanted it. I think that's the cause of anything happening in this life, and it's not just a want intellectually, like my whole being vibrated and wanted it. Like, so I put it above work, above play, above creativity, above sex, above kids, above animals, above everything. And that's not something you can talk yourself into. That's a natural thing that arises and is completely impersonal. So I think that's the key. And then life kind of took me on this journey and led me to all these miraculous people and events and situations, and gave me enough obstacles to see the illusion, or for that illusion to be seen through. Often when I'm working with people, like I really encourage them to see, is this what you really want? Or is it that you want to keep looking for a mother? Or is it that you want to keep looking for a savior? Or is it that you keep wanting to look to be successful in your career? Like, and all of this is about you getting these things in time. Or is it that you really want to go home? Or is home only about you getting other things in this life? Like the way that my story's set up, I made the Four Noble Truths of what the Buddha laid out very quickly, like really seeing that life is suffering, that a separate life, that when people are separate, life really is suffering, and that there's no refuge in it. Do you still believe in life? That there's no refuge in it. You might have had a really blessed life and keep getting things that you want. But it's not freedom. When you're identified, you're always subject to this idea of birth and death, of growth and destruction, of pain and pleasure, and that's you, that you're part of it. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting it, like it's so impersonal, and you just have to go for what it is that you want. And once you've completed what you want, then maybe it will be non-duality. There's no better or worse, it's all one energy. Who you are is that consciousness. And I do believe, I go on about the law of attraction and karma and all these things, but I do believe that you always get what you want. What was it that happened the other day? Oh, yeah. I have somebody that comes and helps me clean my house. You basically think I'm so spoilt. I am. I'm really spoilt, but that's something I really like having, is somebody to help me clean my house. I still have to clean without the cleaner. There's still cleaning to be done. But she lives quite far away and she can't always come, so sometimes there's months that the cleaner doesn't come, and then I clean the house, and then sometimes she can come. And then the other day I decided to ask a friend of mine if she knew of a local cleaner that I could just ask to come and help clean my house, and I hadn't heard from my other cleaner for months, I don't think. And within 4 minutes of sending that email, my cleaner wrote to me and said that she could come and clean my house the next day. I hadn't even asked her. I sent out the email asking another friend if she knew of a different cleaner, and then within 4 minutes I got an email saying, I'm in town, would you like me to come and clean your house? I can come and do it tomorrow morning. It's just amazing. Like if you have the right vibration, you get what you want. Most of the time, what most humans are doing is they're telling themselves what they don't want. What they don't want. So say, like, they don't want to be a failure. So they're always telling themselves they don't want to be a failure. So what do you think they attract? Failure. They're always saying they don't want to be poor. You don't want to be poor, then you're always attracting poverty. And it's what you see. It's as if when you go into a room, if you look at blue before going into a room, so you just look at the color blue, and then when you enter a room, all you'll see in that room is blue. But everything is a creation of your mind. But you're not creating your mind, and you're not creating the thoughts that create the mind. Who you are is consciousness, which is creating the mind. But consciousness is doing it without a will. Consciousness creates a will inside the dream. Consciousness doesn't have a will. It's spontaneously creating, and it's so magical. Like, it's just coming out of the divine, and you can feel it right here, but yet it's creating it in a pattern. So it creates a human that has a want to be successful, and it's a pure one, and the whole body wants it, and then it's successful. Has a want to be a failure. In a way, you can see it as love, like you always get what you want, and then that's what's created. But it's coming out of nothing. It's coming out of no place, out of freedom. And it's nobody's want. It's just the way it is. Is the desire to get enlightenment also driven by survival instinct? Yeah, I mean, most probably, yeah. I mean, it must be. It's that desire to be free. It's the same pattern. To be free of all the games. And then actually when you fall into consciousness doesn't care about surviving. It doesn't care about being popular or loved or successful. And then the body carries on, but it's at a lesser pace. Like, the body's appearing out of nowhere, but it carries on with the motion to survive, but it's at a very minute pace. But yeah, of course it must be it's out of the survival instinct. And maybe it's a form of intelligence, or maybe it's a form of survival intelligence when it begins to see that the game is fucked. If you're identified with the person, then it's a life of suffering, it's a life of pain. And then obviously that's not what's desired. So in seeing that it's all dead ends with the person. And then ultimately it's life that does it. But yeah, like, I really saw that the person had no chance. The identified person had no chance in this life. Maybe waking up and enlightenment is the next phase of human evolution, because now we've got more comfortable in our evolution and food is easier to obtain and shelter is easier to obtain. Maybe the next phase of evolution on the human level is to eradicate this false identity, and that on the survival level, it will be more effective and more productive for humanity to come from that perspective, because that would be a perspective of trust, of more honesty, of openness, helping the environment, compassion. Hi Lisa, I have a topic to talk about, not exactly a question. How changes in me goes with changes in others and the magic of it. Thanks. Hi Quiella. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Because everything that you see is you, is a reflection of you. So you think that energy is working in a logical way, but it's working in a magical way. It's like your dream. And whose dream is that? It's nobody's dream, it's consciousness's dream, but it's coming through the quality of Quiella's dream. So as Quiella comes more awake and more aware, then it affects and changes the people and the surroundings around her.